Okay, next we are going to create this on Onshape. This will be our next sketch. So I'm going to create a document called Sketch 2. I am going to create my sketches on the front view so I can lock in the front plane by doing this, clicking on that top right circle. I'm going to select I'm going to click on the sketch menu and I'm going to select the front plane. I can select it on this menu right here, so I can do that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select corner rectangle, which is this one right here. So I'm going to just draw a rectangle of the origin. By clicking on the origin, it snaps right away and creating a rectangle. I'm going to unclick rectangle and I'm going to zoom in. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another rectangle that's aligned with the top line of this rectangle that I just created. Okay, so what I was doing just now is I was trying to unclick it, and instead of unclicking it, I was changing the size of it. So to unclick a line or a point on the iPad, you gotta double click the screen really fast, and I wasn't double clicking fast enough. So I selected corner rectangle again. I'm gonna click on the top line. I'm gonna snap onto it. You see that it just slides along the top line. So I'm gonna do this on purpose. I'm not gonna make them even. I'm going to make one of the I'm gonna make the rectangle that I just created not end right where I would want it to end, so that the two spaces at the ends are even. I'm going to make one thicker than the other. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to trim the top of that line by selecting the trim tool and then clicking on the part that I want to trim off. Notice I had to do it twice because one of those lines that I trimmed was part of the big rectangle and the other one was part of the smaller rectangle. Okay, I need to unclick or unselect the trim tool so that I don't keep on trimming. So what I want to do now is I want to make sure that these two parts are the same length. And to do this, there is a tool in Onshape that allows me to do this. I can select them both and click on the sketch menu, and on the, is it on the sketch menu? No, I think it should be here. Yes, it's on the sketch menu, and oh, I was supposed to scroll up. It's an equal option. You click on equal and immediately it's going to make the two lines the same length. All right, now that we have that, we can extrude our part by selecting notice that my area is still highlighted and it's slightly darker gray. So I'm going to click on my 3D menu, click on extrude, and you can see that it got highlighted. You have to make sure that your option here is new at the top, one entity selected, and there is no specific thickness that we wanted, so we're just going to leave it at blind. All right, so if I leave it at blind, that means that I can make it as thick as I want by pulling on that arrow right there, which is what I'm going to do. All right, well, I'm done. Okay, the next thing that I want to do, you notice there's a little notch right here, right? So this part right here, this notch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a rectangle on this face. To do that, I'm going to click on my sketch menu, and immediately it tells me sketch. It asks me for a sketch plane. If you look at the bottom left, well, rather bottom right, it says no entity selected for sketch plane. So I'm going to click on that face that I want to draw my plane on, and automatically you see there that it created a plane called Sketch 2. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on corner rectangle, and I'm going to draw a rectangle in that space that where one of the corners is on this line and it stretches out to another corner on this side. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We can change all of that. All right. I'm going to unclick corner rectangle because I'm done creating rectangles. And what I want to do now is I want to create a space, a gap in between those two parts. So I can do this by extruding. So I'm going to select the 3D menu again. I'm going to click extrude. But the extruding that I want to do is not it's the opposite of what I've been doing so far, which is not to add a piece to it, but to remove. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the top line here that it says where it says result, where it says add, right? You see above it, it says result body operation type, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click remove. So now I can create a gap. I can create a gap as deep as I want to. Okay, I don't want to make it too deep. Just want to make it like that. So we have our part. And we have created our figure. Now what I want to ask you to try is to do the same thing on the other side on your own. There's a few ways of doing it. I'm not going to go over that. You can try to play around with your tools and figure that out yourself. That's all for now.